we are talking about some very surprising ways in which our environment affects how much we eat. Now, it makes sense, if you are of the persuasion of people that believe that we evolved from animals, that our environment would very much affect the way that we eat. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think, Jesus rode on a dinosaur or whatever. If so, you can still enjoy these tips, but just pretend that God made you that way. Okay? So check this out. Tip number 1. This is a pretty simple one, but I think it's a really good tip for weight loss. So larger plates and portions make you eat more. Now this seems like a no-brainer, but think about the difference between you have the exact same portion and you have it sitting on a very small plate, maybe this big, and it's like piled up and it's overflowing, versus you have a huge trough and just like daintily sitting in the middle of it, you've got your pile of whatever food you're eating. Now, our brain is actually not very smart. Yeah. It tricks us and it says, oh my God, there's no food here because look how big this plate could be, right? So I think the number 1 diet tip here is if you're interested in losing weight or eating less, then you want to use small plates. Yeah. What do you think?
So I actually knew someone that was like a physique person, and she would only eat using like baby utensils and like baby plates. So she would literally eat like yogurt with a baby spoon, like a children's spoon.
Like one little.
Yeah, like literally not even a mouthful.
I guess that makes sense. Well, yeah, I mean, like I'm super guilty. I think we might talk about this later, but I'm very much guilty of eating while I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
And like if you're sitting like in front of the TV, like eating a Chipotle bowl or something, like
it's there and then it's gone.
Oh yeah. Like there's no way that bowl is not being consumed because like you're just shoveling it into your mouth. You're like staring at the TV. And you're like I don't even know what just happened. But
that's the worst with like snacks. Like a bag of like pretzels or something. It's like, oh wow, this was full 5 seconds ago.
Very interesting. So another one that this is kind of a no-brainer, but interesting studies come out on it. So flying on an airplane really screws with your ability to taste things. A 2010 study commissioned by Lufthansa found that being inside an airplane essentially numbs your taste buds. What happens is the dry, pressurized air creates a situation with your sinuses, which can prevent you from fully smelling the food because your nose, gets all swollen. Now it's like having a cold kind of. And we do know that our sense of taste is predominantly between 70 and 80% determined by our ability to smell. So being on a plane results in a 20 to 30% decrease in your perception of saltiness and a 15 to 20% decrease in sweet. Do you believe this one?
Yeah. I've eaten a lot of airplane food. And
maybe it's actually not bad. Maybe the food is fine.
It's probably way worse than we actually think it is.
You think it's worse?
I do. I think it's probably
because they don't care.
Like super salty,
anyway.
And you probably don't even realize. You just think it's like bland.
Bad food.
I don't know. It probably is just super salty. That's what I think, at least. I assume everything that is made and microwaved in 5 seconds is super salty. So maybe I'm completely wrong.
No, I think you're on the money there. The next one. Loud music makes you eat faster. Now this is an interesting one, and this is like what I was saying at the beginning about like, I think that this comes from some evolutionary perspective here. So a study shows that people actually chew their food faster the louder the music gets. And restaurants use this to their advantage if they want to increase the table turnover rate. It makes sense. The same thing happens with alcohol. The reason bars pump up their music really loud is because they want people to drink more, and it helps. But if you're on a diet, the best way to do it is complete silence. It's going to help you to eat less than you would if you were distracted with music or TV. So, pretty interesting one. I take this one back to the watering hole, right? You're in a situation where you're a gazelle or whatever, and things are really loud and stressful, but you're trying to eat, you're trying to drink some water, so you're like lapping it up as fast as possible because your stress is going off, and then you run away. I think that that's what's happening in a loud restaurant.
When you're a gazelle or something. Like I'm literally just envisioning like me dressed up as like a gazelle, like flipping water into my face.
That's basically what would be happening.
So that's the case.
Yeah.
That's why.
So and then the last one, and we're moving on here, is that The more people we eat with, the more we eat. For some reason, when we eat in a social setting, meals eaten with one or other person tend to be 33% larger than meals eaten alone. And then the more people you eat with, the more you eat. And you can get up to like, your portion could be double if you're eating with a table full of people. I don't know, maybe if it's because people are trying to like match each other and like do what everyone else is doing and we all just end up eating more. I see it to be true. I don't know. What do you think, Tamara?
I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure how I feel about this exact example, but I know I always, when I'm around people, I'm like, let's go get froyo. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go eat something. And then when I'm by myself, I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's not make those decisions. I'm not going to go get froyo by myself. I'm like...
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, it's a lot more difficult to convince yourself that you want to get froyo when you're like sitting
and then you don't even like think about froyo, but as soon as I'm with someone, I'm like, oh wow, I could eat froyo every 5 seconds for the rest of my life.
That is hilarious. Well, listen up, folks. That is our data. Let's do a little game here. So if you knew all the things that we discussed here, you can give us a thumbs down on the YouTube video guilt-free. But if you knew everything, or if we taught you something, then you need to give us a thumbs up. That's the way it's going. Let me know what you think in the comments below.